Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for taking the time out to be here today. I'm Karan Mulchandani, and I'm the founder of a social enterprise called Enlightened Sapiens, and I'll be your host for today. On behalf of South Asia Bonsai Federation, I'd like to extend a very, very warm welcome to all of you. So for those of you who don't know about South Asia Bonsai Federation, I'd like to let you all know that South Asia Bonsai Federation is the South Asia regional organization of the World Bonsai Friendship Federation, WBFF, which comprises of countries like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Nepal, and India. There are 50 clubs and associations in India that are affiliated with SABF. Also, the Bangladesh Bonsai Society is an active member of SABF. Under the flagship of World Bonsai Friendship Federation, SABF strategically works towards promoting the art of bonsai in the region through academic programs, demonstrations, lectures, events, exhibitions, as well as conventions. Mr. Sudhir Jadhav is the Secretary of SABF, who will be facilitating the session today. Mrs. Sneha Prasad is the President of SABF and the Director of WBFF. Sneha ma'am, would you like to say a few words?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Namaskar. South Asia Bonsai Federation welcomes you all to the second segment of our Suiseki series. There is something I want to add to it, that each country calls this art of stones collection by different names. The name in Japanese is Suiseki. Today, South Asia Bonsai Federation would like to put forward the name Nisarg Shilakhand for this art of stone collection in India. Karan, can you show the slide so that everybody can see the name?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a Sanskrit word, the root and mother of all Indian languages. Let us call this art of stone collection Nisarg Shilakhand from now on in India. I would like to welcome all of you again and our overseas audience to our Nisarg Shilakhand series. Thank you so much for joining. I'm delighted to welcome our star of today, Mr. Anthony Gedang. I met Anthony 4 years ago in Manila. He hosted me and my team, and we visited his wonderful museum. I was deeply impressed and had decided then and there to make this art popular in India. I have to thank few more people today, Mr. Tom Ellis from USA, Mr. Chua Dato from Malaysia, San Kobayashi from Japan, Lindsay Sir from Australia, and of course, Anthony. Many, many thanks to you for sharing your experience with us and agreeing to lead us in our next Suiseki trek. Thank you so much. Friends, today, South Asia Bonsai Federation presents something new, exciting, and adventurous. Sit back, relax, and enjoy Nisarg Shilakhand series. Thank you. Thank you so much. Over to you, Karan.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to call upon Mr. Sudhir Jadhav, the Secretary of SABF, to greet Mr. Anthony and take us through the session today. Hello, Mr. Sudhir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Karan. I'm Sudhir Jadhav, the Secretary of South Asia Bonsai Federation, SABF as it is commonly known by most of the people here. Greetings from South Asia Bonsai Federation to all our viewers who are watching this event live from India and abroad. A warm welcome to all of you, and thanks to all of you for being here and gracing this occasion with your presence. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Anthony V. Gedang. Dr. Anthony V. Gedang from Philippines is a bonsai and Suiseki collector since 1970. He has participated in numerous local and international competitions. He is the president of the Natural Soul Society of Philippines. He is a multi-awarded producer, director, scriptwriter, and storyteller of independent films recognized locally and globally. Some of his films were featured and have competed in Kerala, Chennai, Kolkata, and Hyderabad. He is the president of film production and publishing company, Artist Entertainment Inc. He owns Museum Artist and institutional member of the International Council of Museums, ICOM, which houses over 10,000 pieces of artwork, relics, tribal art, books, and artifacts from all over the world, including India. Through the museum, he promotes and appreciates different cultures and art. He is a member of the board of directors of ICOM Philippines. As an environmentalist, he is a doctoral fellow of Royal Institute of Environment Management. He is the founder, president, and CEO of top water and wastewater engineering companies, namely EnviroConsult, Water Consult, Allied Consult, Wastewater Consult, and BioVish. He frequently visits Kolkata to promote the use of ductile iron pipes from electrosteel castings in water supply and sewage systems in Philippines. South Asia Bonsai Federation is honored to host Dr. Anthony Gedang for the lecture today. I would now formally request Anthony, sir, to begin with his session. Over to you, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, that was a very nice one you did. Good afternoon. I saw some of my friends in also joining us in this webinar. I saw Mr. Chairman Kunio Kobayashi also. I apologize for Tom Elias because the time frame is quite different from ours. I think it's now 2 o'clock in the morning, and you know Tom is about very tired already at this point in time. So, Paolo, can we start with a presentation?
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to start by, since the title of the program is Suiseki Saga, so I'd like to tell you about my viewing stone journey. By the way, I'd like to greet also, I heard from Ms. Sned that Lindsay Deb is also in the house. Thank you very much for joining us, Ms. Lindsay Deb. Yeah, Paolo, next slide, please. So since the 1970s and the 80s, I've been an avid collector of many things, as was mentioned. I have over 10,000 pieces of artifacts and tribal arts from all over the world, including some of these things. So my museum is both for inanimate and animate objects, for live and static items. Next. So I started the stones hobby because it very much complemented my bonsai hobby. So my first introduction to this kind of practice was more on the bonsai. During my earlier days after resigning from my professional career and building my own company, there was so much pressure all around me. So I need to have some hobby, and this included the new started hobbies that I had was studying Buddhism, studying Hinduism, going into bonsai, and then later on stones. Next. They gave me a calming effect. Willie Benz is really my original mentor. Willie Benz, I don't know if everybody knows Willie Benz. Willie Benz is the husband of Gudrun Benz. He passed away a couple of years ago. When I met Gudrun and told her that Willie was my inspiration and this part where he said that Suiseki provides a place to meditate, to clear away the pressure of the day. This was exactly what I was looking for. So I joined him in his quest for some huntings of bonsais and stones. And some of these stones that you see on the screen are the first acquisitions that I had. And then when he told me that, Tonet, you seem to have an eye for this hobby. So then I was so inspired, and then so I started collecting really further. So really again was my inspiration for this hobby, and he started me into this. Thanks. Next slide, please. So another affiliation, another affinity that I have this spiritual thing. As I said, I studied much of Hinduism and Buddhism, and to cleanse my thinking. So I started liking also some stories about gods and goddesses and mysticism and spirituality. So then next slide. So then I started collecting. Also, I was a mountaineer for so many years. Every weekend, I would climb a mountain or two. I'd sleep there for 2 nights, 3 nights, and then go back home on a Monday, and then started life again, working. So I have climbed more than 80% of, I think, Philippine mountains. I also climbed some peaks in Japan. Yeah, next. So now my like for, and then plus the nature, like this is a stone. I really love water. I swim a lot. I just came from a surfing adventure in La Union. So I like the waters very much. I like nature very much. I'm, again, as you may have heard, I'm an environmentalist by heart. Next. So these are all hobbies of mine that led me towards the natural affinity to Suiseki, or viewing stones, as we call it. On the left, I have so many mentors. As I mentioned, Willie Ben is one of them. And one of the best, and Mama Bonsai Feli on the left is the first Philippine president and founder of the Natural Stone Society of the Philippines. So we fondly call her Mama Bonsai. She's very, very active in the stones and bonsai world. On the right, you get to see in my Indian space, in my Indian house, me, Dato Chua from Malaysia, smiling there very happily. He's also with us right now. Thank you very much, Dato, for joining us. Hiromi and Tom and Hip and Tanui, the wife of Hip, is from Vietnam. Next slide. I have some other slides. Yeah, with our friends stone hunters in Shikari River in Japan, with Masakunyo Kobayashi there in one of the Suiseki exhibitions in Tokyo, and some Seiji Morimai. The guy on the left is not the below is the red one is Mr. Baba. He is my idol. He basically would have many of the best collections of Japanese stones, Japanese Suiseki. I like when he displays in this exhibition. I like his stones so much that he has become my inspiration. On the right side, you see Mr. Kasahara. Hiromi and Tommy introduced me to Kasahara, the one with the folded arms. Mr. Kasahara died a couple of years ago, but he was my first Japanese collections were coming from him. Next. So I'd like to for you guys to know that we have friends in Taiwan also. Mr. Chen on the lower bottom giving me this stone, and some of our friends, Mr. Ho and others from Taiwan, another one. So we travel a lot. I travel a lot. Next slide, please, Paulo. Yeah, now Mr. Professor Amil Yang, who also has a museum. By the way, Mr. Chen on the other slide was the one who inspired me to put up my museum, because he has the biggest museum, if not the biggest I've seen so far now. So Mr. Chen, and then Professor Amil. She has her own museum also. And some of our friends in Taiwan also again. Yeah, next slide, please. Oh, it's saying that my interconnection is unstable. My friend on the right, on the left is my wife, Malu. On the left, my beautiful wife, Malu, while we were in the Japanese Suiseki exhibition last year, my beloved. On the bottom below is I want to show you this because this is if ever I would have more money, I would buy this one. This is the best bonsai one can ever dream of. A bonsai, sorry, Suiseki that one can ever dream of. So much, the display is so spectacular that you get to imagine people praising Buddha in front of a big altar. But they're minerals, actually. The yellow ones are minerals. Next. This is my favorite Suiseki of all. Next slide. So this is the BCI group now in Mongolia. On the left side, we were in Guangzhou, China, led by BCI, of course. This was one of the best stone travels that I've had in my life. Yeah, actually. And the market in Mongolia was crazy. There were more than 500 stores there. So if any of you wants to really be serious about the hobby, this is the best place to buy stones now. And then below, some Suiseki pictures of us during the exhibition. One of my stones being saved. The next slide. By the way, this is not a technical discussion really. It's more of an, I was told by SABF that this is more of an introduction into Suiseki. So I'm not going to do too much technical things this time now. So, but I'd like to explain only what a viewing stone is briefly. A viewing stone is a rock that has been collected and displayed solely for its aesthetic qualities. So it's not just a rock, but it has beauty and art in it. So you don't display it because it's a stone. No? You display it because it has something bigger than being a stone. Next slide. So we carefully examine. This is a stone from Mr. Abode, one of my most beloved. So the viewing stones is also the act of carefully. By the way, viewing stones is a more generic word. I think the President Ms. Ne explained it earlier. So there are many other Japan would have Suiseki, Korea would have Susok, and SNE had the Indian and also already.
Yeah.
So viewing stones is, as I said earlier, yeah, you jumped the gun on me. Yeah. Anyway, viewing stone is also, as I said earlier, of seeing something greater than the stone itself. Yeah. Okay. So meaning something greater than the stone. So you have to look for it. Yeah. Thank you. Next slide, please. So our goal here, and eventually, will be to increase our knowledge for stone appreciation, which is basically the goal also of the Nippon Suiseki Association. So I'm just propagating what I've learned from them also. And also to increase our skills in viewing stones and display techniques. Although this time, this is supposed to be what the end goal is. One of the end goals is to be able to know how to display stones. But this time we will just get to know how to display it by looking at the many things that will be shown, many stones that will be shown to you. And eventually, hopefully, all of us become a viewing stone connoisseur, an expert in the field. No? I do not consider it only as a hobby. I also consider it now as an industry for the Philippines. No? Next slide, please. Yeah, I just want to give you some basic things about how the Japanese would evaluate a stone. No? The first one is the shape. Next one is by the quality of the material. So shape is like my stone here at my back. This is what it's talking about. Oh. See the shape? See? So it's very it's meaning that in the middle it should be and the underside is very, very stable. Yeah. So meaning this is being used in many books, especially in Matsuara, in the book of, this is the best book that I have ever purchased. It's done by Will. It's done by Matsuara Rashige, translated and adapted by Will, our friend from Nippon Suiseki also. Yeah, this is the best book that one can ever buy. And in the first few pages, this commanding view stone of mine is featured here. So shape is the most important thing. That's why people would ask, you know, when you're hunting, what do you look for? First, you look for shape. So now, if the shape at the front and the back should not be abruptly, you know, like a cliff. It should slowly, it should be on a sloping mode, no? So to be balanced. Next slide, please. Yeah. Next is the quality of the material. So now people ask, you know, people show me sometimes some stones, but are too soft. So it cannot last for a long time. So there's a most hardness scale that is being used to check on the hardness of the material. So the material, the Suiseki or the viewing stone, should not be too soft as to break easily. What we do is a coin test. You try to use a coin, you scratch the surface. If the scratch is so deep, then it's not a collectible material. So, but it should be hard enough to be able to still have water retention. The ability to retain moisture is desirable. In Japan, I noticed, no, especially in most of our visits, but with Tom Elias and Hiromi, with most of our visits in Kasahara, I always vividly remember that when we go there, he would always hold on to a water spray. And while talking to us, having tea served by the wife, he would always just sprinkle it with water, and then when it's dry again, sprinkle it, you know. So the water should be retained in the stone. Next slide. Yeah, the color, of course. No? So Sado color is, Sado Island is a red, is like Akadama. So that it should reflect the natural scenery. Most of the best colored stones that I would pick would be some deep blue and green and dark gray, and sometimes jet black and warm brown. These are the colors I would prefer to have. Next. A surface texture, of course. Oh, the lower one on the left. Oh, spectacular. I bought it a couple of years ago from Nippon, from the JSE. It's very, very nice. Look at the geological. And then the other ones. So you can see that the textures are quite different from each other. On the Philippine stone below on display right now, it was last week it was displayed at the Tokyo Museum of Art, the Philippine stone below. So it's a little more porous, small pores. On the topmost is another stone I bought from Iseki in. So there are patterns, they are jagged, some wrinkles and folds. Especially in Chinese, they like wrinkles and folds, and so this surface texture is quite important also as well. Last one. Of course, the next one is the age, but this one is the most difficult to achieve. You need to have this, a stone cultivation, wherein what I do, from what I've read from the books and from my visits in some of the farms of our Japanese friends. So what they do is they put the stones side by side with their bonsai, and they allow it to be showered, to be showered by water, and then to be under the sun, for it to have a deep plaster, a patina. But the best way, according to my Japanese friends, would be really to hold on into your stones and have the natural oil of your palm, rub it to the stone, and then you achieve the patina like this. Can you identify where the patina is? Look at the patina. So the difference between the surface and the smooth. So the smoother ones are the patina, like we call them. Next slide. So basically those are and this is the classification, Japanese way. No? The Chinese would have their own way. This is the Japanese way. So there's some groups by Seki, landscape, and figure stones, and then land and water-based. I'll be showing you. That's why in the video I'll be presenting later, you will get to see most of these names being shown. No? At least now you have an idea of what they are, what the Japanese names are represent. Next. So yeah, Baiseki, Achiseki. So Baiseki is something outside the human hands already. And then next slide, chrysanthemum stone is the mountain stones, dansekis. You'll see a lot of my dansekis. The Doha, the plateaus, arcs, okay, gate or tunnel, we call them. Yeah, we've seen some of them. Next slide. Yeah, this is how we shower them. No? So again, because this is an introduction, how appealing Suiseki or viewing stones practice is to me, and it's very, very easy. No? So one is that first, next slide, Paolo. So more often than not, in many exhibitions, you will get to see a stone being a companion of the bonsai. They're being displayed together with each other, and sometimes in the houses of some of our Japanese friends, they would have their tokonama space where they put screens and scrolls and stones and bonsais all together. So my love for bonsai really made the Suiseki practice appealing. Next. Yeah, this is the next one. Also, hunting for stones is very, very easy.
Hi, I think Mr. Anthony is facing some technical difficulties. Just give us a minute. We'll get him back on.
Is my not good?
We can hear you now, Mr. Anthony. If you don't mind taking us through the slide again. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But that's why I'm seeing my internet is not stable. I'm now in my museum. By the way, I'm now in my stone museum. So this is the first time I did something like this here. Yeah. So anyway, as I said earlier, having this hobby is very easy. You don't need any special tools to hunt stones. Next slide, please. Hello. I'm sorry for technical difficulties. Hello. Yeah. Yeah, me. So what is required is a special purpose vehicle. You need to have a four-wheel drive when you assault the rivers. Yeah. You have to have a love for the outdoors, of course, like me. As I said earlier, I'm a mountaineer. The aircon mo nga. Next slide, please. So I love the outdoors. I love the water source. I love fresh air and sun. You know. Next slide. There, no, in Panay, a couple of years ago. Next. Hello. Yeah, this is my wife in a river in Japan, and who found a heart stone, object stone, and they gave it to me. She gave it to me, but don't tell her that I lost it in transit going back to Manila. But I still love her, of course. Next slide, please. I lost my heart in Japan. Yeah, geology. So I also like fossils. I have a collection of fossils. I haven't shown to you. I also have a collection of minerals. So I am interested in these kinds of curious things, different colors, different shapes, and semi-precious stones. So so these are the things that appeal to me, the geology of these minerals and stones. Next. Yeah. Also the Suiseki practice leads us to other interests, no? Like as I said, I'm into fossils also, Kaseki. I'm into Ikebana, and I'm into bonsai. So they mix and match together. They complement each other. Next, Paulo. Yeah. Furthermore, it is a livelihood to our friends in the provinces, you know. So I taught them how to hunt, and now it's their livelihood now. So it provides livelihood, and as I said also, I hope to turn it into an industry in the Philippines, where we are also blessed with the same geology as they have in Japan. No? So I hope to develop it into an industry. Do I answer those questions? What is a coin test? Oh, my bonsai friends would not like this, but I like this. I like this to teach them. So my stones become alive, but eventually my plants would die, my bonsai would die. So I like stones now a little better because, you know, you put them in a pedestal and they're now a bird, oh? Yeah. So now I love I love this bird, but some of my bonsai, some even more expensive than the others, but they eventually would die, one branch after another. Sometimes you make a mistake overheat. Many things happen with plants. So anyway, I still love bonsai.
Yes.
I've been noticing in Australia. Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Anthony. We lost you again. If you, yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Am I
yes,
okay? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So I've been noticing also because of the COVID, or because of the Facebook and all of these chat groups that we're developing. I've seen a lot of activity in the viewing stones groups all over the world, especially in Australia. There's a lot of them there, especially a lot of them in Bisana, in America, and in Europe also. So I'm glad I can be with them. I can join them. We sorely miss each other because of this COVID, but still we are able to communicate and share pictures and images of our hobby. So it's still okay. Next slide, please. So aside, I don't know if I've mentioned already, but the Chinese has first started the practice of stones, of viewing stones. And then it was refined by the Japanese around 400, 600 years ago. So now we're trying to learn. I'm trying to shortcut everything, learn from most of my our good friends, and learn from the books. And we're trying to shorten the learning curve. I think that's the same goal Ms. Nea and the SABF intend to do. No, you want to learn very fast. No? So next, I'll show you. I'll tell you what I'm doing right now. So first, I tried to improve the supply side. No, Tom and I have discussed this for many times, that we need to intend first to have more beautiful stones from the Philippines, discover more beautiful stones. So I conducted a Suiseki Summit a couple of years ago, and the training resulted into very effective one. So improve the supply side, and then second, the demand side cultivation also. We're engaging on many promo and sales platforms. I have all of this. Bonsai.com.ph, naturalstones.com.ph. So I have many platforms right now. I think I have all in all, I have 9 platforms where I can display all of my things and open up the market for people to appreciate the stones. You know. So like what I said, I have learned from books online, and the Bisana website is one of the best best and well organized website that I've seen so far for stones. No, you especially your members. I encourage your members to visit the Vaisana website. Yeah. Also, I think the BCI also have a website. No? I have a social media. I have a virtual museum, so you can see my collections in my virtual museum also. I also disseminate information through YouTube. And then what I did also was I hired a geologist to support us in our quest. So what I did was many of the Philippine stones and international stones that I have, I had our resident geologist check on them, study their acidity, their hardness, their chemical, their mineral properties. So then I'm now in the middle of writing a book. Actually, the far end of writing a book. It's about to be finished already. So, and then I also teach where to hunt. We have in many of the books, it's very easy to know. No, you can have a book from Felix Rivera, a very fine book also. Mr. Benz would also mention to you where the best places to find this stone. So but basically they're in rivers, in creeks, in deserts, mountains, and places of natural erosion, meaning the soil is unstable or soft, that they would fall down. Next. So what I did to explain further, next slide, please. Yeah. So this is what I did a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I think. I held Suiseki Summit a couple of days. They were here. Many of them were here. Many of my friends, many of them initially were bonsai enthusiasts also, who knows that they have a natural affinity. Their place is very near a river, very near the mountain. So I taught them we taught them. Tom was led the group. Mrs. Feli Gupit also led us. And then we after the session, we went to my house on the left side. We actually did display and demo training of how to display, how to do a proper display. So I think many of them learned. So from there, they went back to their homes. And we have new disciples, viewing stones disciples in the Philippines. So no, that's the reason why I have so many stones right now. I have bought so many Philippine stones. I'm very glad I did this summit, and it resulted very well. No? So the other thing that we did was we joined forces with one of the leading bonsai clubs in the Philippines, Philippine Bonsai Society, which I'm a member of also. So we joined together, stones and bonsai. We call it Sanib Puersa in a mall. So I also joined exhibitions of other groups, bonsai groups. So just to propagate the knowledge of the display of stones display. Next. Here, Will was very kind enough. Our friend Will from Japan was very kind enough to have. This is not all the books that I have. I have so many other older books. Will was very kind enough to help me source out. Will and Tom and Hiromi, they were kind enough to help me source some of the best books that are available in the market for sale. So I have a big collection. I'm reading them. So then I'm spreading them. The information that I get, I'm spreading them weekly to our members in the Natural Stone Society of the Philippines chat group. Next. So these are teasers from our book. I even wrote poems about them. So we will provide poetic names, Japanese classification, the size, and the technical description of geologists, and then some of my poems that I wrote for the stone. Next. Watch out very soon for this. Of course, my friends would have a copy from me free. As I said, the NSSP chat groups, we have daily and weekly coach learning and guidance. So we have two chat groups actually. There's a chat group also for sale, for buying and selling. Now people can post and buy, yeah. So you can also have this among yourselves now. But there should be some semblance of order, no? Because people started, overselling. There were problems in the buying and selling activity. So there should be order in when you organize this kinds of chat group. Next slide, please. So Then during the COVID, I think it was March, I started having competitions like this, wherein I put in my lanai, in my rock, I put some of the stones, the best stones that I have, and then I asked the group which stones come from what province. So we had this competition, and then it went on for 2 or 3 days, I think, before somebody got it perfect. So it was a very, very nice spontaneous reaction from our group, and we were, you know, even amidst the loneliness of COVID, we were in a short period of time quite happy playing among ourselves. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we also had online exhibitions. I think we held this March 22nd, 2020, just immediately after the COVID. So I basically initiated competitions like this online. So these are the winners that we have different categories. There's still an ongoing. We still continue on with competitions like this. Next, please. So you saw that it's, yeah. So these are some of my Philippine stones. I think I have about 2,000 to 3,000 Philippine stones that I have recently bought from many of my Suiseki friends from the provinces. Next slide, please. I'm over time already, I think. Contemporary viewing stones. So now the direction that we're taking is having it locally, you know, not anymore not too much of the Japanese style, not too much of the Chinese style, but we're trying to do it contemporary. We are adapting to our own way of doing things. Next slide, please. So some of my displays have been featured in Tom Elias's contemporary viewing stone display book. Yeah. Next slide. Where I crisscross, I cross practice my different hobbies. No? Like I collect antiques, I collect memorabilia. So I just would like to say a little bit about what I displayed here. On the topmost, for example, the figure doing the dancing is a bulol figure, is an antique one. I think it's 19th century, very old, quite old, over 100-year-old. So I'm imagining the bulol to be he's a god of the mountains in the north. He's a rice god actually. He's protecting the mountains, so that's my impression. On the middle one, it's a KKK altar of the Katipuneros. There are guerrillas during the Spanish period. So it's an altar that high-ranking Katipunero owned during the time. And the mountain there, the mountain stone that you can see there, it's like closely, like I said, it has pores. So I imagine the mountain to be the cave, caves where the Katipuneros would hide during the Spanish era. Okay, next. So meaning that's how to display, no? There should be a connection on the things that you use for. They use for display. Next slide. Next slide. So with bonsai and stones, yeah, again with stones and bonsai and scrolls, with the kikaseki, the mum stone. So these are my best stones. Kasahara stone, Kawai stone, coming from Will, and then this is the most beloved that I have. I'll explain it to you later. The logo of NSSP. Next text. From Asia. Like what Ms. Sne did for the South Asian Bonsai Federation. Me also, we started yesterday. We are calling our stones kaaya-ayang bato, meaning beautiful stones. So in Filipino, kaaya-ayang bato will be used, hopefully by my group, to represent Philippine stones similar to Suiseki of the Japanese. Yeah. Next. So we're coining our thing also. This is supposed to be what happened May of last year. We were supposed to have a Manila International Suiseki Summit and Exhibition, wherein many of my stone friends, viewing stone friends from abroad, could also bring their small stones and compete in the Philippines. And there's going to be a national competition. And there's going to be a three-day seminar. I have invited already the speakers, but unluckily, the COVID happened. So I will pursue with this once the COVID season is over. No? I hope it happens very soon. So I'm inviting you guys, even if there's no date yet, for the next Misay Summit in the Philippines. I think I've done. Yeah. And I think, yeah. So these are my websites and my companies that you may want to visit to see more of my things and of my collections. Yeah. I think I've done enough. My mouth, my voice is hoarse already.
No, thank you, Mr. Anthony. That was really enlightening, and there was a lot of learning in that, and very inspirational as well. So thank you very much, Mr. Anthony. I think for all of us, he's prepared something special for all of us. Mr. Anthony, if you don't mind, would you like to take us through a virtual tour of your Suiseki collection and display, as well as show us the Indian deco section of your house?
Yeah. Please join me in our journey in my museum. Would you have a sound for this? Favorite stone from the north. Different kinds of colors, Philippine stones. Delta stone. This is an antique painting I bought in India, 19th century Portuguese painter. Nice limestone. This is a very old, 200-year-old painting of Krishna. My object stones in my Indian collection, in my Indian state. A lion, a head. All Philippine stones. Cave. See, I like Indian furnishings, very old. No? I have so many. Journey to the next slide. Dokra. That's a dokra. Indian dokra. Oh, nice. So my early stones were more of my affinity for gods and deities. I like gods and deities. I said an African stone. A Malaysian caveman. Oh, the falcon. These are the stones I bought with Willie Tech. I showed you earlier. Freddy Krueger is my attachment to my filmmaking hobby. Nightmare on Elm Street. So we're now entering my museum. Really maganda video quality. These are my Chinese. The covers are resin, so we put the cover at the end. That's how important the stones are. We put the cover in the stone. Chinese stone, chrysanthemum stone, yellow wax. Hindi maganda quality. Chrysanthemum stones, you saw raw chrysanthemum stones. Siguro stones from Italy. Oh, I don't want tunnel stones. Yeah, my shelter stone, very nice. These are all Japanese stones, by the way. Stones from Iseki, from Sapporo. Lucky stone, yeah. The jeep jet lang. Oh, may Tanagata. Boat stone. My beach front. I wrote a poem about that. All-time favorite. Commanding view. Stone. From my second. Potaro stone. From Moremai, my gift. From my daughter. Papaya is stone. Papaya is flying dragon. Nice waterproof stones, huh? Nice. Stone. King stones from China. The PCI convention. We were together with Link to bed then. These are very, very small stones actually. surface pattern stone on Vietnam. Most of these are Japanese stones. These are Philippine stones. Japanese stones. So these are minerals. Area for minerals and Suiseki. So you see, my stones are just outside of my house. I'm doing Yoseki for them. They're out exposed to make them old, to make them develop patina. These are the stones that I bought from recently, just during the COVID season. I need to have a good Dysa maker. In the meantime, I'm just using soy bun. Among the best Philippine collections. These are the quality of stones that are found in the Philippines. Maybe a couple of years more, we'll get there. Bakit nagaganyan? Nice.
Wow, that was a great treat to the eyes, sir. I'm sure all our viewers must have enjoyed this virtual tour. Thank you very much for all your efforts for putting this video together for all our viewers today. It's we're really honored to have seen this 2 years back in 2019 when me, Sneh ma'am, and the other delegates visited your house. We could personally experience all your stones there, visit all your houses in the vicinity, and also had a look at your museum. So we consider ourselves to be very fortunate and having seen it personally. And thanks again to you to putting it together for all of us. In the next segment, we have some of the veterans speak about Anthony sir. South Asia Bonsai Federation takes pride in presenting Dr. Thomas Ilias. He is a highly respected personality for his contribution to the subject of Suiseki. Dr. Thomas Ilias is the former director of the US National Arboretum, is the chairman of the Viewing Stone Association of North America, honorary vice chairman of the Viewing Stone Association of China. Karen, over to you to put on the video for all of us. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tom Elias. I'm the chairman of the Viewing Stone Association of North America. It's my pleasure this afternoon to talk to you briefly about Anthony Gedang, or Tonet as he's frequently called, a good friend of mine who shares an enthusiasm for viewing stones. Tonet is a natural leader. He has taken the Natural Stone Society of the Philippines and expanded the opportunities for exhibits and displays, and he's expanded the collecting of stones, searching for new stones in the Philippines. He's held at least 2 stone symposia, brought in people from outside to help teach Filipinos about aspects of stone appreciation. He also is eagerly shares the information he's gathered from his travels. He's traveled many times to Japan, China, Vietnam, other countries, meeting with stone experts and stone connoisseurs, bringing back with him information, books, journals, and stones back to the Philippines. Tonet is also a fine collector, he has this enthusiasm and drive to build a wonderful collection of stones. He has the best collection of stones from the Philippines in the world. He also has many fine stones from Japan, China, and other countries. And in pulling together this collection, he's very generous. He shares stones with others. He shares information, and he is moving forward to become one of the leaders in stone appreciation in the world. He really is a fine connoisseur of stones. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
sir,
very
for
much,
this
Tom.
great. Thank you very much, sir, for putting this great message for all of us. It was very inspiring. Our next speaker is Mr. Chua Kok Hua from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He is the international consultant to the World Bonsai Friendship Federation, WBFF. He is a great friend and a huge supporter of South Asia Bonsai Federation. Karan, over to you.
Hi, I hope everyone is well and safe. My name is Datuk Chua Kok Hua, International Consultant of World Bonsai Friendship Federation. I'm from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. First and foremost, I would like to thank Anthony for asking me to speak a few words about him as a Suiseki collector. I came to know Anthony through bonsai and Suiseki conventions. Since then, we have become good friends. Anthony has been collecting stone from the country he visited since the 70s and the 80s. He has many excellent stones in his collections. One stone in his collection that he and I love the most is the distant modern stone Kurama Ishi, a classical example of well-balanced and symmetrical distant stone. Anthony has been supportive of bonsai and Suiseki conventions in the Philippines. He always has this objective in mind in promoting Suiseki to the locals and to the world. Every year, Anthony exhibits his Suiseki in the Nihon Suiseki exhibition in Tokyo. Anthony has good eyes and taste for Suiseki, and I regard Anthony as a connoisseur of Suiseki in the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your message,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chua
Dato'
Kok Hua.
Chua.
Yeah, it was a great message put across to all of us today. Thank you very much for your efforts in putting this message to all of us today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great moment for South Asia Bonsai Federation to present Mr. Kunio Kobayashi-san from Shunkan Bonsai Museum, Japan. He is highly regarded for his contribution to the heart of bonsai and Suiseki across the globe. He is the role model for many artists like me, and he is followed by millions of artists all over the world. South Asia Bonsai Federation is highly honored to feature Mr. Kunio Kobayashi-san today on our show. Karan, over to you.
I like the Tora Ishi the best. Setagawa Tora Ishi. And especially making the layer. This is the best. Seta Tora is making the brown part and the black part and making the layer and the good balance. This stone is very good because it's taking the time and making the layer and the texture good flavor. With Meiji Shrine, Kanji Sanaga, first generation, is very favorite. Tambachi Unseki, this color and shape is very good. Flying dragon is a very nice stone. This one is answering entry the 8th Suiseki exhibition. And this one is a lot of people watching at this is great display. And this Doban display is a very nice combination. And the Kakejiku is express the seaside and sunrise art. It's very beautiful. Thank you very much. And especially, his Anthony Gedang is the best people, collector of the Asia and good sense and gather a lot of good stuff. This table is the Shodan Adachi, and the Zogan style is very small wood beams put in the table. It's a very good, elegant table. And the stone and the table, everything to the elegance, all of the artwork. I need to do this. Thank you very much, Anthony. This time to Suiseki Stone entry JSE. Thank you very much. Next
Thank you.
time meet again.
Thank you very much, Kobayashi-san. We are really very honored today to have you on our show. Thank you for taking time out for us. And we are truly obliged to you. Thank you for being on our show today. It was very inspiring to listen to you. Karan, I would now hand over the session back to you.
Yes, thank you, Sudhir. So yes, this is a segment which we are sort of where we are interacting with the Indian Suiseki artists, with Mr. Anthony. They had some questions. They like to share some experiences. So we have at first Mrs. Banaja Suryakumar. Ma'am, if you don't mind, you can interact with Mr. Anthony, ask your questions or share your experiences.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Anthony, sir. Pleasure seeing you. And what a beautiful feast we have had today afternoon. Sir, there's one question. What kind of Suiseki do you personally prefer? Do you prefer nature stones or object stones? What is your favorite?
My favorite is both. I like both. I don't choose whether, but of course, my natural affinity for mountain stones is there, but I don't really choose. When you hunt, you don't look for, or when you go hunting, you want to buy stones. I do not have any particular thing in mind when I buy or when I search or when I hunt, because it's just a free flowing thing. I see beauty when I see one, you know. So could be a landscape, could be an object, could be anything. But as long as it's beautiful or kind of different, I like it. But again, I like every beautiful stone that I can have my hands on. But again, my affinity for landscape is much more still in there. Yeah.
The next question is, though it is very easy to obtain a Suiseki, it is pretty difficult to create a daisa for it. So is there any simple solution for making a daisa?
That's the same problem I have. You saw a lot of stones that I have. I have thousands of stones, but having a good daisa, a skilled daisa maker is very difficult actually. Even in the Philippines, even in India, I think you have a lot of worksmen, skilled worksmen who can do these things. But doing it for daisa is quite different. And me, like for example, in Japan, the one of the stones that Mr. Kobayashi showed, just to buy a daisa, I paid for $1,000. So it's very expensive really to buy a daisa, to buy a daisa with a stone. That's why the secret is you buy a stone without daisa. Buy a stone without daisa, then it's much cheaper always. It's more inexpensive. But then you put the stone in a soyban, a container, put some sand, and that's where you start learning how to display it. So look for the best front, look for the not so good part to cover. So, and then put it in many different angles and situations. So soyban is the next best thing. Daisa would come later when you have good people already. That's the part I'm still cultivating in our industry right now. The pottery and the soyban and the daisa making. Quite difficult still. It's one of the biggest challenges we can have.
Thank you so much, sir. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nice seeing you again.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Mr. Nilesh Patel. So if you don't mind, you can ask a question or interact with Mr. Anthony.
Good evening, sir. My question is, what can be done to bring the young new talent to the art of Suiseki?
To bring new talent, new people to the Suiseki group. Again, you have to have all of these affinities. You need to have a love of nature. Most artists definitely would have a love for nature, love for outdoors, love for the space, the open space, and love for the art, because stones are very beautiful. Viewing stones should be very attractive, very beautiful, and should have an appeal. So art people very easily could be attached to this kind of a hobby. Yeah. So to bring them in, we need to communicate with them through the different media platforms and encourage them, show them pictures of what we have, so that then we encourage them to come in and appreciate also together with us. Yeah. I hope I answered it.
Next question, sir. What are the few things that Suiseki hunter should keep in mind while hunting stone in nature?
Come again. Sorry, I didn't get it. Can you?
What are the few things that a Suiseki hunter should keep in mind while hunting stone in nature?
Yeah, the hunter. We're talking about the hunter now. So Suiseki hunters, again, as I said earlier, when I'm looking for stones or in a river, I free my mind of any personal biases on what stones I wish to have, or I wish to get, or I will never get them. So the mind, our brain is wired in such a way that we can easily see figures, even if they're not there or they're there. We can see figures and then we form them into patterns. So these patterns that we see, so it's not only the eyes, but also the brain. So you should free your brain of any biases when you're hunting. You just get to see them when you see them. Actually, I see with the eyes, not only the eyes, but I also see with the brain. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anthony, yeah. Thank you, Anthony, sir, for answering those questions. We have two more questions from our viewers. First question is about coin test. What is the coin test all about? So would you like to explain that once again to all our viewers?
The what pointer?
The coin test.
The coin
you
test.
explained the coin test.
So,
yes, if you can just explain it once again for all our viewers.
Yeah, you have to be very daring on this one. If you have a coin, you have a stone that you like, and then you have a coin, scratch the surface. If it breaks or if the incision is deep, it's not a good quality stone. Yeah. So, but if it scratches and then you just wet it up and then it's okay, nothing is hurt, nothing is done, then it's a good stone. Meaning the hardness is quite high. So meaning things like sometimes soapstone, when then you scratch and then you scratch the surface of the stone, it's no good. Some people, again, as I said, should be very daring. Sometimes you like the pure, but you don't have to call it Suiseki or anything, but you just want it. So don't scratch it. Okay.
Okay, there's another question for you by Dr. Ashok Kothari.
Yeah, thank you.
He wants to know whether you collect fossils.
Yeah, I do collect fossils. I have a lot of fossils actually. I collect fossils from all over also. In Japan, people who collect stones, many of the people I saw collect stones, Mr. Abe being one of them, he has a lot of fossils. He even have a lot of books, because where you can find fossils, you can find the stones also. Like Tom Elias and Mr. Abe, many people collect this fossilized rock, the fossils, what caseques we call them, petrified woods. Yeah, so they're all over. They're all over. In the Philippines, we have a lot of them also.
Okay.
I have a lot.
Okay.
I collected from Greece, from Europe. Yeah.
And
Next time,
according to you,
them.
Okay. According to you, which are the best places in the world to hunt for Suiseki? I mean, which are the best sites where you can get best of the stones?
Anywhere is great. Anywhere is great. We just haven't seen really, like what I said. No? I learned this from China during our BCI convention there. what they did was they had some geologists speak about the geology of China, where you can buy this where you can find the red stones, where you can find the lingbi, where you can find, so there are in different areas, in different geological areas, you can find different kinds of stones. It's just that we have, you can find them everywhere actually. As I said, in the creeks, in rivers, in the bends of rivers, and in places where there are natural erosion. So even in the desert areas, there are. In Mongolia, can you imagine, there was an eruption 150 million years ago. So now the stones are from the center of the earth was spewed out, and then so there's a lot of stones in Mongolia that are different colors. So you can find them everywhere as long as there's a stream, there's a valley, there's a river, there's a mountain. Yeah, just especially in trees. Some of the trees, because they grow. Besides the trees, some stones have been popped out, so you can easily find them there also. Some of the big trees, besides big trees. Yeah. Thank you.
Karan, you seem to be very interested in this hobby, and I believe you had a lot of questions in your mind. Would you like to ask a few questions?
Karen is smiling. You're smiling. You're enjoying it. Huh?
Yeah, no, I actually have an experience to share. So I like Mr. Anthony said, you need love for the outdoors. So I love the mountains in general, and it's my happy place. So I like climbing mountains, and I usually surround myself with greens because it reminds me of the mountain. So sometimes when I climb, I take a few stones back, of course, keeping nature, being very mindful of nature. And I something that catches my eye, like Mr. Anthony said. And I really didn't know about Suiseki until my association with the good work SABF, South Asia Bonsai Federation, have been doing. And it made me really appreciate that all these stones that I had lying around, to view them from a different perspective. So, and with my talk with Mr. Anthony, while we were preparing for this, I just found a few of my stones, which I've kept it on my tables to remind me of the mountains. And I didn't know the term miniature Suiseki until this week. And I just wanted to show some of them to you. Like, these are my mountain stones, I guess. They remind me of snow-capped mountains, when we climb. And I think that's really inspiring. So the good work that y'all are doing, and getting newcomers like us to actually, I didn't know that there was a term, and there's such a big community here. And it's really, I'm really excited to get started on this journey of Suiseki with all of you. So that's my experience I want to share. So.
Yeah. So the real original purpose of stones for me was to distress myself, like what Willie Ben said. I put a stone in the table, I work. So I again, because we're a mountaineer, so I put my mountain stone, my landscape stone in front of me, and then I just imagine that I'm there in the middle of the valleys, in the crevices there. I'm walking there. So in a short period of time, I'm not anymore in my troubled table. I'm there in the mountain just for a few seconds or a few minutes. So then it takes me out of the situation where I'm in. That's how I relax. I calm myself, really.
Yeah. There's another question for you, sir. Can somebody make a career in Suiseki? Would it help somebody make his or her livelihood by pursuing this hobby of Suiseki, and also commercially doing it for living?
Yeah, of course. You can be many things here, You can, again, as I said, in the soyban, the container, you can be a pottery maker, You can have a good because the people who are into bonsai, actually you can use bonsai pots and cover the drainage, and you can use it already as a suiban. Suiban meaning the container, no? Yeah. So you can do suiban. You can be a collector of sand, because when you have a suiban, you put sand. So you can be a gatherer of sand, and then you can refine it, and then also stones. You can hunt stones when you're very near rivers, as I said. This is really an industry, as I said. In the Philippines right now, I think I have bought so many, again, as I said, maybe 2,000 pieces already for the past 9 months, 10 months. So, and many people have benefited from me buying. No, still not many people, but eventually people would, my problem right now is to have people who can make daisa. Yeah, there's another industry, the carpentry, the sculpting part of it. So there's also people in the Philippines who are dealers. Some people do the hunting, some people do the gathering and buying, and then because the dealers would know people like me, and then they sell it to me. So there's still, it's like really a trade. Huh? It's really a trade. There are craftsmen involved in the process. So it's really a livelihood as far as I'm concerned. That's why I want to develop the livelihood for people in the provinces also. Then they have an alternative source of income while enjoying my hobby, while everybody else enjoys. So soon, very soon, some Philippine stones will be bought. You know, will be available on sale in chat groups, in websites. You know, that's why you guys should catch up very soon. Huh? And I know you have more people than us, and you can do it faster. I know, and you have a very big landscape, huh? Very big landscape. So you have all the more bigger potential than us.
Yeah, we do have a lot of potential. Yes, and we will very soon be there. At this point in time, I would like to invite Sneha ma'am for an open discussion. Ma'am, would you like to share some of your experiences, or maybe if you want to chat with Anthony sir, please join us.
Hi, Anthony.
Hi.
See, you have converted me into a passionate hobbyist for Suiseki, what I would call now Nisarg Shilakhand. And I have converted all of my family members into it. Now, all my grandchildren, when they go all over hiking, trekking and all, they don't bring any other gift for me but stones, you know. So I have stones from Machu Picchu, I have from Brazil, I have from Mont Blanc, I have from Alaska. I have a big collection of stones, and I don't know how to read them, but today looking at you, I felt I could also do something. And I feel we need a practical training from you. You come to India often, so you lead a trek and teach us how to hunt the stones. We have a lot of river basins where we get, and they are the long rivers, you know, they are coming thousands of kilometers long rivers. So we have very beautiful collection. So you should come and tell us, right?
Yeah, my honor. It will be my honor to join you guys in the hunt.
Yes, please. Because Philippines has been a very good friends of ours, and we had gone under Ponsavik Sabalas when he was BCI director and president of your Philippine Society. He had taken us to, you know, a tour from Singapore to Thailand by road, and so many nurseries we had visited and learned how to select bonsai plants. Now it's your turn.
Of course. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, what can I say? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Anthony, sir, thank you for leading a trek for all of us. We will wait for it. I'm already your disciple, so I will be part of it definitely. And of course, Karan, you're also joining us, right?
Absolutely, I can't wait. I really can't.
And I think there are many more who would like to join this trek. So let us plan this, and we all look forward to it. I think Karan,
maybe you know what we do before the hunt, before the actual hunt. Let's have a few more sessions where we can teach them how to, you know, how to have a clear mind when hunting, you know, or how to choose which to hunt. Yeah.
Sure.
How to appreciate the stone.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who want to be part of this trek. They are, you know, suggesting that they are going to be part of this trek. So all are welcome, and we look forward to this trek. So Karan, I think we are towards the end of our program, and at this point in time, I would like to raise a vote of thanks. Okay, so on behalf of South Asia Bonsai Federation, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Anthony Gedang for accepting our proposal to do this program and taking us through a very informative and insightful session on Suiseki. It was a wonderful lecture, and we all had great learnings through your speech today, sir. Thank you very much. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Thomas Elias, Mr. Kunio Kobayashi-san, Mr. Chua Kokwa for their wonderful messages today. It's a great honor for South Asia Bonsai Federation to have you on our show today. I think Kobayashi-san is also attending this session. So thanks a lot to you, sir, and your team for being on our show today. We really thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our president, Mrs. Neha Parashar, for her support and guidance for making this program a huge success. Thanks to all our dignitaries, our viewers from India and abroad who are watching this show live in such a large number today. And thanks are also due to Karan Mulchandani from Enlightened Sapiens and his team for helping us to manage this show. Would also like to thank the family of Anthony, sir, who has been helping him throughout the session. Paulo Jose for his support. He has been, interacting with us for the last couple of days, and it was wonderful to, interact with you, Paulo. So thank you very much for all your help. And thanks to all our viewers for being part of this show. Goodbye till the time we meet you again in our next session. Karan, I would request you to put up our segment on next sessions.
Yes. Thank you, Sudhir, and thank one and all. Like Sudhir said, this is, and ma'am also said at the start, this is our series. We have a lot of events that we do. All of them are knowledge sessions where we learn and interact. So our next session is in March, the 7th of March. That's a bonsai masterclass with Master Abode Solizio. It's by the Indian Bonsai Society, Mumbai. So you can join us. The details are mentioned here. You can screenshot this if you like, or we'll also be sharing the links with you all and the appropriate groups. So look out for this as the next event. We also have a session, another session in March by South Asia Bonsai Federation. It's a salute to the seniors. It's a very different kind of sessions. We would really urge you all to be there for that one, and looking forward to that in March. The dates and the details will be announced shortly. And of course, we have a session by the South Asia Bonsai Federation and by the SGS Ashram Mysore in association with them on a virtual showcase of spring in nature. So that's in April 2021. Again, the details and further information will be shared with all of you very shortly. At this point, I'd like to say, if you'd like to reach out and stay in touch with South Asia Bonsai Federation, the details are mentioned here, the email, and as well as the WhatsApp numbers. So if anything, you would like to reach out and stay in touch with SABF, you can do so using these mediums. And of course, I just wanted to say that we are Enlightened Sapiens. We are a social enterprise that do host and curate events such as these. So if y'all would like to reach out to us, y'all can do so via the email that's mentioned here, or through any of the social media platforms, that's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or through our website. All the details are mentioned on the screen. We would love if y'all would like to get in touch with us. So thank you one and all for being part of this session. And thank you once again for being here.
Thank you, Anthony, sir. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Anthony, don't forget your promise.
Goodbye. Yeah.
You don't forget your promise. You're coming.
Sorry.
I said, don't forget your promise. I already have 25 people registered for the
collection. Don't forget. Yeah, okay, good.
About 25 people registered for the trek.
Very good.